In 2022 I had a quick look at a total of 48 different Atari ST games. And now it's time to find out who was naughty and who was nice, and hand out some well-deserved awards. And let's start out with the king of the bottom of the barrel, the biggest stinker of 22. And we have quite a few contenders this year: Soldier of Light, Fumi's Story, Butcher Hill, Chubby Gristle, Hate, and last but certainly not least, Dark Fusion. And the winner is Fumi's Story! And this is a French game, which might have only been released in France, which really isn't a bad thing. Except if you're French, of course. In the game you control an ant, or at least you try to, but beyond fighting the controls and suffering, I'm not entirely sure what you are supposed to do in the game. It feels like a children's game, but even taking that into consideration, and the fact that I couldn't find the manual, the game is proper painful to play. With its hostile controls, sluggish gameplay, and rotten hit detection. The graphics are quite nice though, and there's some fairly slow but cool looking parallax scrolling going on in the background. But beyond that, this one is best stayed away from. Next award is Most Sleep-Inducing Boss, and we have two contenders: Dark Fusion and Bad Company. Both are very worthy of the award, but I think I will go with Dark Fusion and its first boss, which you get to enjoy fighting twice, in the slowest moving space fighter since the last game with a really slow space fighter, I guess. It feels like you are flying through military-grade syrup. Meanwhile, the boss just sits there and wobble around a tiny bit. The most exciting thing about this boss is that it seems to have caught a bad case of worms. So every now and then a worm flies out at supersonic speeds, which forces you to focus on staying out of its way, slowing down the boss fight even further. And the entire experience isn't made any better by the somewhat dodgy hit detection. So, good fight, good night. We only have one nominee for the next one: Pretty But Pants. And the winner is undoubtedly Hate. If you're a regular viewer on my channel, you know I love me some isometric graphics, and this one has got some of that. It looks really nice and even scrolls pretty smoothly, giving it a pretty distinctive Saxon feel, but that's where the fun ends. The gameplay is about as fast as a retired turtle with gout. Much thanks to the fact that the game forces you to restart a level whenever you die, making sure you get to suffer through the painfully slow animation of your vehicle launching. After having to watch this a couple of times, your eyelids will surely start twitching. The hit detection is also trying its best to be an utter mystery, and often you blow up for no discernible reason. The levels and enemies are also repeated ad nauseum, making you think you're suffering from chronic deja vu, or even worse, like you are being forced to watch a Holiday Emmerdale Farm rerun festival on TV. So yeah, there is a reason for the game being called Hate. Time for the much anticipated Balls Award, and there is no doubt that the winner is Yolanda. I have quite mixed feelings about this one, and I know I'm not the only one. The game really does an excellent job of punishing the player, sometimes way before you realize what to do or indeed what is going on around you, as you are spawned into literal hell. A game session can last for as little as a few measly seconds before your characters get burned to a crisp because you have no idea of what to do and where to go. The controls also really put in an effort to annoy you. And yet there is something strangely compelling about the gameplay. The satisfaction of finally clearing a screen reminds me of the satisfaction you feel from defeating a Dark Souls boss. Although this game is vastly more evil and difficult than any Souls game. This one is indeed an early example of a massacre game, where the only way forward is to die, learn and retry, or maybe just go bonkers trying. This game also wants me to introduce a Most Cruel Game award, which it definitely would have deserved. Let's hand out the Worst Controls award. Again, we have quite a few contenders: Wolfchild, Nightbreed, Dark Fusion and Butcher Hill. And the winner is Butcher Hill! This game has 3 different Vietnam War-based sub-games, and I've only played the 2 first ones. Maybe the third one has vastly better controls, but I sincerely doubt it. In the first section you fight the controls to steer a boat down a river, avoiding dangerous seaweed and any contact with the cursed riverbanks. If these controls weren't enough to make you want to rip your limbs off, just wait till the jungle section. Here we get some rather nice first-person graphics. We have to navigate through the jungle, fighting off the occasional enemy, avoiding traps and mines, and find the ever-elusive village. Unfortunately, you are better off sending the game a fax with information about which direction you just pressed, instead of actually using your joystick. Sadly, the hit detection also tries its best to match the controls. So just run back to your boat and get the hell out of there. Next one up is Biggest Hitbox, and we have 2 contenders, Ninja Spirit and Hate. And since Hate already brought home 1 award, I'm going to hand this one to Ninja Spirit, just to be nice. And more specifically, the award goes to the second boss of the game, even though the hit detection in general in the game is a bit iffy. But the second boss just kills you outright using his willpower. He can even murder you before he has spawned in properly. Cheating bastard. Otherwise, this game is actually quite enjoyable and a pretty decent arcade conversion. As long as you keep in mind that most hitboxes in the game are the size of Belgium. Next one up is the Lost Award, and there is no doubt in my mind that the winner is Butcher Hill. Specifically the first-person jungle section. As you advance through the dense jungle, fighting your joystick, enemy soldiers, the compass and the painful lack of visual feedback, you quickly feel lost. In fact, this entire section reminds me of the TV series Lost, where no one had any idea what was actually going on, including the showrunners and the writers. Now, as nice as this section looks, you quickly lose both interest and direction here. Just watch another episode of Lost instead. That way you can enjoy the feeling of being lost by no fault of your own. Here's another new award, Prettiest Title Screen. And although there's been quite a few nice looking title screens in 22, there is no doubt in my mind that the award should go to Hammerfist. The graphics in the game have been created by Hugh Riley, and his use of the 16 available colors on the title screen is truly superb. Awesome work. The in-game graphics also looks really nice and gameplay is pretty decent too. But the controls and gameplay could have used some more love for sure, but it's worth checking out for the visuals and music by Wally Beeben. In the next category we have 2 contenders, fighting about the Best Arcade Conversion Award, Operation Thunderbolt and Rodland. And even though I have had a look at quite a few arcade conversions this year, these 2 are undoubtedly the top contenders. And the winner is Rodland! And yeah, I know, this one is cute enough to make you want to vomit pink ponies all over your desk. But I just have a thing for cute platformers and this one is really excellent. It's a conversion of the Yaleco arcade game, released in '90. The game isn't particularly taxing on the ST and has been converted very well. A lot of fun if you're into cute platformers. Just go play it, alright? And of course we have to end with Best Game. We have 3 contenders, Rodland, Operation Thunderbolt and Goblins. And I'm afraid I'm going to have to go with Rodland. It's just a lot of simple, clean fun. Unless you hate cute platformers with a fiery passion, that is. But the game looks, sounds and plays great, so it really deserves some sweet love. Go play it. And with that, I'm going to say thanks for watching and hope you enjoyed the ST Awards of 2022. And of course, it's fine if you disagree with my awards. Please feel free to correct me in the comments section. And I'm sure you would do that anyway. So, as always, I hope to catch you in the next video. Cheers!